So, so this is mostly just an overview of sorts, because 2023 has ended, meaning that the manga log for 2023 has come to a close, and we must usher in the new year of manga logs by talking about the last year of manga logs, as well as bidding adieu to this notebook. This notebook has served me well for 3 years, and it's great. I randomly got this notebook from Barnes & Nobles. I didn't buy it. The cashier gave it to me, and didn't know what I was going to do with it when I got it. So, good thing I started this. Anyways, this has been a very interesting year for my reading, mostly because I have not read as much as I have in the previous years. In fact, I've read significantly less. So, let me get into how much I've read this year, and then we'll go into the comparison to all these, and then finally I will bid adieu to my lovely manga log and introduce the new. But first, the numbers. So, in the year 2023, I read a total of 372 volumes of manga, which is pretty good. I wouldn't say that it's a small number, but it is definitely a good chunk, And based off the fact that I'm running out of room on my bookshelves, that would be a pretty good estimate of how much I've been reading. From there, the amount of comics I've read, very significantly lower, which is 7 volumes of comics. So, yeah. But, yeah. I mean, the ones I did read, I did enjoy, so I'm not going to besmirch any that I've read. I did enjoy them. As a result, I will, not be like, oh man, they sucked. Because there have been series that, like one series in particular, that I don't know if I'm going to continue reading with manga, but most of the comics I've read, I'm definitely going to continue reading those. Alright, from there, out of all the ones that I've read comics and manga wise, I finished 30 series, so not that bad. Like, obviously some are still ongoing and will probably be going on for years, or some might finish in a few volumes. All in all, I did find some of them to be lacking in some sorts of ways, and I'll get into that in a little bit, but some were perfect length, others I feel like they could have gone on longer, and they should have gone on longer, but it is what it is there. So, from there, last little bit. So, started in the year of 2023 is a grand total of 42 different series. So, I probably should be finishing more than I start, but it is what it is. Some series take, like I was talking about before, take years, and then other series will be finished in a few volumes. So I enjoy the ones that I started, except like one or two. And some of the series should have stopped a while ago, and other series should have continued on. It is what it is. But, oh god, my nose. But, like I was saying, this year is one of those few years that I definitely have read less. And I wouldn't say that it's because I've lost interest in reading manga. Obviously not, with the sheer amount that I've been reading, and based off of the previous years and how they shape up in comparison to this last year and what I finished and started. It is just sort of a, like, at this point, context wise, I have been working at my job that I've been working since 2017. As of this year, well, last year, 6 years going on 7. And I used to have a lot more energy. I am now 28. When I first started working this job, I was 21. And I am not as energetic as I used to be. There are still times where I'm like, woo. But most of the time after I get home from work, I do not want to do much of anything except like sit on my couch, watch some YouTube videos, listen to some music, and not try to stimulate my brain. I'm just like, I just want to sit down and do nothing. That being said, because of that, and unlike previous years in which I've read, throughout the week, I mostly now read on the weekends, and usually I read about 4 to 5 volumes a night on the weekend, so that's like 8 to 10 volumes I read during the weekend, and sometimes I read less depending on if I am playing a video game or not. And that's also another thing. I don't really play video games during the week anymore, just because I'm tired at work. And I do love my job. That's not a dig at my job. It's just like I am tired. Some months are better than others, just because of the industry that I work in. And other months are brutal to the point where I just don't want to do anything. It is the way of life. But I wouldn't say that I am disappointed that I'm reading less. So let's get into that, because now that I've finished this and have 3 years worth of information, you can definitely tell the amount of energy that I've read, like different reading wise. Because if you watch the other 2 videos that I've done where it was 2021 and 2022, you'll understand. Granted, this also is because at this point the pandemic is fully over and I'm not having as much free time as I once had, and obviously work. So like comparison wise, the 372 is significantly less to the 2021's value of 66 volumes, and 2022's 526, which is okay. Like, I've obviously read almost 200 less than I did previously, but 2023 was kind of crazy at points, and I am fine. Like, I can see where I can definitely read more. For instance, the last day of 2023, I read 10 volumes, and if I wanted to, I could do that every single week, but I'm also trying to cut back on the amount of volumes I'm buying right now because I don't have enough space on my shelves. It is sucky. I wish I had more space, but I am trying to find a new apartment, but right now it is what I have right now is the amount of shelving space I can get. I can maybe move that that dresser to get another bookshelf in there, but if I'm going to be moving in 6 months, why would I add another bookshelf? So trying to consolidate the amount of books that I'm reading is also another reason. And phone, stop it. Ugh. Sorry about that. And I am just trying to also save money to be able to get a bigger place. So maybe this year I will probably be scaling back the amount of manga that I'm buying, or the amount of manga that I'm reading. It is just how it is. I would love to buy more series. It's just that I am trying to move out of this shitty apartment. And unfortunately, most places that you want to just buy another bedroom onto it add like an extra $200 or $400. And that's just unfortunate, and that's the way of things. But I will say, comparatively with other things other than the amount that I've read, comics wise, I've read more comics. Granted, it's just how it turned out. Like, I've read in 2021 I read only 4. In 2022 I read 6. this year read more than, the last year. So, again, trying to read some more comics. I got a bit more space on my comic shelf out in my living room, but not as much, because again, this is a shitty 1-bedroom apartment. And I actually have started more volumes than recently. I think this is just a year that I will probably be reading more started series, but I've finished less series because that's just how it works. Some years I start more series, and then other years I finish more series. Specifically in 2021, just because I've been reading more during that year, I finished 86 series and started 24 in comparison to this year, which I started 42 but only finished 30. And likewise for 2022, I started 32 but only finished 83. So started more series but finished less, and that's just because of some of the series that I'm getting are longer, and some of them are short little bitty ones. So yeah, all in all though, I would say like I was saying, there are one or two series that I probably will stop reading, and one of them I really did want to enjoy, and I don't know if I'll come back to it, because I've heard certain people talking about it doesn't really get better as it goes on, and it's just, I don't know, it should be one of the series that I like reading, but I don't know if I will ever finish it, and that's going to reach over here. Tokyo Revengers. I really wanted to get into this series this year, but it is one of those things where I've read it and I'm just maybe if I continue reading it, I'll like it, but based off of other people saying the later parts get weirder and weirder, and I don't like the main character. The main character seems just why are you so fixated on a girl that you liked in middle school all the way back now 10 years later? 12 years. That's even worse. And certain other characters, they're all supposed to be in middle school, but they look like they're 20 years old, and apparently it's based off of the mangaka's real life experiences, but it just seems too jarring reading it that I'm I'm not really into it. It just doesn't it doesn't make me excited to read the next volume. And there was points where I'm I did enjoy it, but the jarringness of being yes, these 12-year-olds, one of them has a tattoo on the head. It's just I'm not saying 12-year-olds can't look like an adult. My brother hit puberty it hit him like a freight train, and he looked like he was, in his 20s, but it just seems weird that this doesn't, it's not good for me. I'm not saying it's a bad series, I'm just saying, it's not one of those series that I will probably continue reading, and that's pretty difficult for me to say, because most of the other series that I read, I continue reading. And some of them I would love to continue more, but they're just hard to get the volumes for. So I'm not saying it's a bad series. I might try picking it up later on, seeing if it was just my biases at the moment. But yeah, it is not my cup of tea. And I'm sorry to the creator of Ken Waka. Well, Ken Waku. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name for one, but it's not for me. I don't know if I'm going to continue it or not. Maybe I will, but it's just it's on the back burner, And we're just gonna put that right there. And we're good. But yeah, so that's one of those series where I don't know if I'm going to continue. I would have loved to continue it because it seems like an interesting story, you know, sort of like a butterfly effect type of deal, but I don't like the characters all that much. And I feel like I should be liking the characters. But yeah, and like I was saying, in other series that I finished, I kind of wish that there was more, like another reach over for here. And that is the Hunter Guild Red Hood. I finished it last month because there's only 3 volumes for this, and it felt like it could have gone on longer, but then it got canceled because Shonen Jump just likes canceling shit. And it, like, I feel like if it went on for a little bit longer and it really got into the meat and bones of the story, I feel as though it probably would have gone on for a few more years and it would have had a better fleshed out ending. They could have still kept the ending that was in, you know, the 3 volumes, and it could have done pretty well, but it just felt as if it was rushed because the mangaka just got shafted by, you know, fucking Shonen Jump, and it sucked. I wish that it continued. I really did want this to continue, and it's sucky that a lot of series that I read, I'm like, yeah, this could have gone on for a little bit longer, but then in other series, I'm just like, this should have stopped it, you know, a few, you know, volumes ago, and it kept on going. Like, I think one of the ones that I know off the top of my head that probably should have stopped was Usagi Drop. I don't own that one, and if I ever did buy that series, I would stop at the point where it's, like, the anime stopped. And if you know the ending of that one, you'll understand why. Because why the fuck did it go that way? Anyways. But, yeah, certain series should have gone on longer, like this one. And the other series should have stopped, like that one. It's just the whim of the publisher, I guess. So, putting this back. But, that being said, I would say that I've read a good amount. And now that this manga log is finished and fully ended, I will move on to my new one, which will be this one. Not as fancy. I bought this at Walmart. I wasn't gifted it like this one at Barnes & Nobles, but in total, over the course of the 3 years that I've been using this one, dedicated and logged within the pages of this, because I wrote them down, because I only had 3 pages left, and the last page is blank that I'm gonna just write a little thing on there at some point. But between the 3 years that I was using this, in these pages, the amount of volumes and manga and comics that I've recorded in these is kind of staggering. So over the 3 years, the amount of manga volumes that I read is 1,464 volumes in this one tome. The amount of comics I read, significantly less at 17. So, manga, definitely read a lot more than comics, which is 17. Now, the amount of series that I started in these three years is 98. Almost made it to 100, but, you know. But when you compare it to the amount of finished series that I had, which is 199. So, based off of all those numbers, I am definitely finishing a lot more than I'm starting, which is good. It means that I'm not piling up, you know, manga and consuming it and not finishing it. And it's good to be able to say I finished this series and I can fully articulate it. And in some series that I've been reading for a long time, the end is nigh. But, yeah. Well, that's it. Hopefully, 2024 is a better year than 2023 for manga reading. And in general, though based off of how the first couple of days have gone in 2024, I'm not holding out hope. It's probably going to be shit. But, you know, I'll stay inside, read some manga, play some banger video games, listen to some bopping music, and just hanging out with my friends playing some great tabletop RPGs. But if you enjoyed this video, think about hitting the like button. If you want to see more of this bearded face, think about hitting the subscribe button. And if you have anything that you read in the whole year of 2023 and what you think about your main recommendations or what you're going to be reading in 2024, put it down in the comments down below. So, yeah, stay safe out there. And, keep warm. It's supposed to be cold, in the coming week. And... yeah, that's about it. I really don't know how to end these videos, so that's it. Bye.